Okay.
All right. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. So Rick and I, have been working on, I know we talked about it a little bit on the call last week, but we've been working on some training videos and lots of great content for the site that Rick has. He's killing it. It's really, really, really good. So after this call today, I'm going to have Rick drop the information in the group so that you guys can go check it out. It's not finished yet, but it does have, a lot of great information to, start off with. It is a work in progress, so bear with us. But what we're going to talk today about is landmines. Landmines when you're starting your business. There's lots of things that we did wrong in the beginning, and we have a gentleman by the name of Brian. His name is Brian Strand. Many of you might know his wife better than Brian, but Ashley Strand, you all have probably seen the 9.5 video that she does. It's the video I send out to everybody when I first start talking to them about the water, because it has all the details. It's really, really good. But Brian is also really good in his own right. But what he's going to be talking about is the landmines that we all go through. So these are all the don'ts, but it's definitely a really good video. And why don't you go ahead and roll the video, Rick, and get that started. And then afterwards, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about which of these landmines resonated with you. So I know there's a big one that resonates with me, and Rick has one as well. Well, a lot of them do, really, but check out the video, you guys. Roll it, Rick.
Cool. This week, you guys are going to be able to hear it, which is good. Last week when we did this, nobody could hear it. Let me get back.
We're learning as we go.
Yes. Everybody see my screen?
Yes. This is the site, you guys.
Everybody see that?
Yep.
Hey, okay, so stop whatever you are doing with the business at all. If you're watching this video, completely stop. If you're about to send an email to somebody or anything, do not send any content, any information, any invites, nothing to anybody until you have watched at least this video and then the next video with my wife, Ashley, on what to say and what to send to people, because it's very, very, very important that we get you started on the right track, down the right path, right off the bat. It's one of the biggest things I see a lot of people jump into is they get super excited and they don't know what they're saying and they end up putting their foot in their mouth. So let's not have that happen to you. And I'm going to go through some of the things we like to call new distributor landmines, or the new distributor potholes or pitfalls, whatever you want to call it. But basically any type of mishap that you can do in this business, and they're really trivial. And here's the fun part about all of them. We've done all of them. We've experienced all of them. We have had a lot of fun doing all of them, but they are not beneficial to your business, and they are not beneficial to the people that you're trying to get this water to. So I'm going to jump into all of them. I'm going to explain how to avoid doing all of them. I think there's probably about, what I have, like 10 or so here, but they'll be really fast, really easy. And knowing you guys, since you're sitting here and watching this training anyways, you're not the type of people who would do these types of things anyways, so they're just good for you to know when you're talking to other people and training them down the road. So first one's first: overselling, overcomplicating, or debating with people, or trying to over convince somebody who just doesn't want to be convinced. This is a big one for me. I love to argue. Ask my wife. I love it. It's a lot of fun because I know I'm right all the time. And you heard her scoff in the background. That was good. Okay, I love it. The problem with it is it doesn't do any good for helping convince people. Arguing just ends up creating this wedge between you and this other person. I have gotten into big debates with people, and it's really frustrating for me because I have talked with very intelligent, scientific engineers, people who know what they're talking about, basically doctors, and you name them. I've talked to them, and I've gotten very amazing answers about the science, all this stuff from these people. It hasn't ever helped me sell a single machine ever, because people don't really tend to care about those things very much, besides the people like me. So it's important to know that it's amazing. Actually, let's put it this way. So many people, before they get started with this and we're talking to them, they tell me, I hate selling. And nod your head on the computer screen right now if you hate selling, right? Okay? So don't do it. That's if you're jumping into Enagic and you're jumping into Kangen water, then this is perfect. Then you don't have to sell. You don't have to overcomplicate things. It's water. It's not some weird exotic berry from down in the Amazon that you need to explain all this weird random stuff to. That stuff doesn't help. So over-explaining, trying to sell people, it's not beneficial. If you get to know the person and and it's really funny because when I was in middle school, I had one of my teachers tell me, Brian, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so shut up and listen. That's what she told me, verbatim, all right? But I was a really bad student and I deserved that. So, and that's really kind of still true to this day. You got to listen more than you talk in this business when you're talking to people. And that's how you get to know them, so you know how Enagic or the water can help them in their life, whether it's through their finances, whether it's through their health or anything like that. So don't sell, listen, all right? And then just give away the water to them, and we're going to get into some of those problems that people can get into with that here in a little bit. So first one is don't oversell, don't get in debates with people about the water, and don't try to overconvince people. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work at all, and it's not fun for you. Even if you're right, trust me, I've been on the right end of the argument every single time, because just ask my wife again, and it just doesn't, they never come back around. So don't do that one, okay? Second one is talking too much and annoying people. This includes Facebook, by the way. It's so funny because I get out and about with people sometimes and in social situations, and I hear people go on and on and on and on and on about the water or the money or the business or whatever it is, and long after that person has been excited or anything like that, you can kind of get that look you can see that look in their eyes when they're like, okay, well, I wish this person would stop talking right now, right? That's, you over talk and you can start to annoy people really fast. And this is the worst on Facebook or email blasts. People send email blasts and they think, oh, I have 500 emails. I'm going to send each and every one of them an email about Kangen water with these best awesome links, and it's going to be just this awesome content, and I'm going to sell 100 machines. I'm going 6A in a week. It's going to be awesome. Nobody responded back to my emails. And that's the next conversation we have. And so it just doesn't work, because it comes back to that personal relationship you gotta build with that person. You gotta build that trust with that individual. Okay. The same thing goes for Facebook. I see so many people get so excited about this water and what it can do for the people in their lives, and all of a sudden it's like Facebook post about the water, about what 11.5 can do, what 2.5 can do, and you're just like, oh my gosh, why are they posting so much about the water? Because what that's going to happen is people are just going to stop following you on Facebook. They're going to click on the little arrow, and they're going to click on unfollow, and then they're never going to see any of your content again. And so don't overpost on Facebook. Ashley and I have a rule. It's an industry standard for any type of people who are trying to build their own business or anything. It's 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10 of your posts can be about the water. All right. The rest of it is motivational quotes. It can be posts about your day, your kids, a cat video, whatever you're into, just not about the water, okay? So don't overdo it on Facebook. Don't do email blasts. Don't talk too much, and listen a heck of a lot more, and people are gonna be way more receptive to you, okay? So the next one is scaring people away with the price, okay? This is a huge one that I see a lot of people do. And the analogy I always give to people is, if I'm going to try to sell you something right now, okay? You're watching this, okay? And what this thing is it's a widget, and it moves you from point A to point B, and it costs $10,000. All right? Do you want it? Well, you're probably going to say no, because you're like, well, I don't know what it does. It's just point A to point B, but I mean, I can go from point A to point B just by walking, so why do I need to do that, right? But if I started to tell you, well, this $10,000 thing that I'm going to give you, that I'm going to sell you, is actually a $150,000 Mercedes-Benz that's top of the line luxury, it's brand new, it's amazing, you would be scrambling to try to find $10,000 right now to buy that car because it's an amazing luxury $150,000 car. It's a beautiful, wonderful car. The same thing is true with the water and the machines. If I was to tell you, do you want to buy a $4,000 water machine? You'd go, no, I can go to my tap and I can just turn my tap on and I can get water for free. Why would I pay $4,000 for it? But if I was to tell you this amazing $4,000 water machine got rid of all cleaning chemicals in your house for the rest of your life, you didn't have to buy bottled water anymore, it was extremely eco-friendly, it was super healthy, and it's going to save you money in the long run, you would be way more interested in what that in buying that. So you got to set that value right off the bat with you don't have to tell people about the price of the machine right off the bat. If they do get insistent and they want to know how much it costs, here's how I tell people. Well, we have like this $80,000 hospital machine that you don't need. We have a $6,000 commercial machine that you don't need. And but most people you get like the standard one, the $39.80 machine or the $49.80 machine. But honestly, you can get it for $40 a month, right? With nothing down. Okay, and so that way people don't have to worry about the price and scaring them away right off the bat. And if they do, you know how to combat that. And honestly, if they're jumping into that and want to know how much it costs so much, probably means you were talking too much to begin with, and you want to slow down and just intrigue them right off the bat. So scaring people away with the price can be dealt with, even if they hear the price, because you can kind of start that high number and bring it down to the 3980, the SD501. Or you can also say, Ashley does this perfectly. She says, but you can get it for like $40 a month with nothing down. But honestly, you don't even know if you want a machine yet. So let's just get you some water and see if you like it. Okay. So the next one is losing people to the internet. Okay. This one is huge. This is what happened to me. Ashley and I were almost lost to the internet by Michael Hagan, the guy who told us about the water, because he didn't really tell us what to find on the internet, what to expect on the internet. And so the analogy I always give people is, if we're sitting out at a table across from each other and I say, in 5 seconds I'm going to reach across this table, I'm going to slap you in the face. And I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I reach up, you're probably not going to just sit there and let me slap you across the face. Either you're going to get up and walk away, or you're going to deflect, or you're going to protect yourself, or you're going to slap me first, one way or the other. All right? It's the same thing for the internet. Okay? If you tell people what to expect, they're not going to be blindsided by what they're going to see on the internet. So here's what I tell people on this one. Anytime I've used the word Kangen or Enagic, or they know the name, our product name, or anything like that, I always say, and by the way, if you're a Googler like me and you want to jump online, don't be blindsided by the knockoff machines that are out there. That's their only form of marketing. They wait for people like us to tell you about the water, and then they advertise on Google for them to pop up first for ads, and then there's all sorts of nasty stuff that they say about us that's not true. But if you have any questions about any of those things, then bring them to me and I can talk to you about them. So that you don't want to lose people to the internet. Just pre-warn them, just inoculate them, and you won't have to worry about 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100. People, they'll see it and they'll go, oh yeah, that's what they were talking about, and they'll move on. Okay. So the next one is giving out water too long to the wrong people. And that's really important, that it's to the wrong people. Because there's going to be people in your life that you care about and that you love, that you want to give this water to and you want to help them out. And that's perfectly fine. The thing about it is, we are in this business and we are doing this because we want to empower people, not enable people. That's really ultimately important. And honestly, you don't even necessarily need to sample the water to some people. And that's what's really, really important, is for people to understand, is they don't have to sample water. But if you are one of those people that do, and that's perfectly fine, then you got to set the precedence right off the bat, as far as like, I can't wait to give you this water for the next week. All right, or I'll give you water I can't wait to see how you do with this water for the next 14 days or 10 days or whatever you want to do. When we first got started, Ashley and I, we didn't set any precedent. We were just like, you want some free water? And they're like, sure, yeah. And they didn't even know what they were. We did every single landmine you can possibly imagine. But all of a sudden people started getting to the point where they were just super expectant for us to just deliver it to their house, and they live like 20 miles away. Like, can't you just bring it to me? Well, no, can you meet us in the middle? Oh, I'm really busy. And all of a sudden we were so caught up in that, well, oh, we might lose this sale because we're not going to drive 20 miles to give them this water. You're right. And we weren't posturing at all. What we have is the single most amazing product, I honestly believe this, that's ever been made. It's a simple product. It's extremely versatile. It saves people money and it's good for them. I mean, how many other things in your life are like that? It's so amazing. So own that and know that you have that. So you want to empower people. And the best thing for people is for them to get the water in their system from their own machine right away, because the properties start to drain out almost really, really fast. So the next one that we're going to talk about is making claims. So this, like I said, this product it stands by itself by how great it is. Okay, so you don't need to hype it up. This company's not about hype, and that's why I love it. It's not one of these companies that's come out of nowhere and all of a sudden it's like, this is the greatest shake or lotion or potion or cream or blah blah whatever, it's amazing, and then all of a sudden they're gone in 5 years. And I've seen that happen a lot since I've started doing this over the last 5 years. It's been around for 40 years. It's an extremely versatile product. It's proven. It's fantastic. We're number one in the industry. You don't need to fluff it up to make it seem better than what it is. Same thing that goes for the business. You don't need to tell people you don't need to make outrageous income claims that you hear in all these other network marketing companies where, oh, my sponsor made $100,000 in his first month, whatever thing. You know what? That stuff, I can tell you right now, after being in this industry for 5+ years, a lot of those things are bloated up just to try to convince you to purchase their product or join their business or whatever it is. Enagic, we do not do that, and we don't need to do that. It's lowball stuff. It's bush league stuff. It's not recommended. It doesn't help. And honestly, the people who fall for that type of stuff, you don't want them in your business anyways. You want rock solid people that are gonna love this product and love this business for what it is without having any fluff behind it. So the last three here are focusing too much on the science. So this is another big one that I used to do. I used to read from a chemistry textbook all the time. I had a chemistry textbook that I used to have sitting on the demo table, and I would have like the little what do they call them, little post-it notes in there that I used to open up and go, oh, all right, now let's talk about blah 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 blah. And nobody wanted to get a machine, and I was so blown away by that. And the only thing I was getting a lot of people asking questions, and people were so super excited, and they were asking me questions about the science, and I was like, oh man, I can answer all the questions, I have all the answers, I'm amazing, blah 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 blah. But nobody was getting these machines because they were getting this mindset of like research and science and answers and all this stuff, and they weren't focused on what the water can do for them. Okay, so focusing too much on the science can be a really bad thing. The same thing goes for focusing too much on the business. I know right off the bat, if we would have been told this is a great business opportunity, I would have been 10 miles down the road, 10 minutes later. I wouldn't have wanted anything to do with this business pitch. I was intrigued by what the product could do, but then I saw the results of what the business can do for my finances and my family's lifestyle. And so focusing too much either end is either on the business or on the product can be bad. So figuring out what the person wants right off the bat and getting to know that person, you're going to be able to get a good idea of, because that's what Enagic has, both. We have the best of both, okay? And so you got to just figure out how we can fit into their lives and help improve their lives, okay? The last one I'm going to talk about before I wrap up is a really huge one, is being a solo act, okay? So here's the deal. Ashley and I, that's why we built this website, is so that nobody's a solo act. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself, which I know is a cliche. Maybe you've heard it 1,000 times, but it's so true. And there's a reason why it's said 1,000 times over and over and over and over and over again, is because it's true. You need to work with the people who, if you want to get somewhere in life, go and find the people who are already there, okay? And that's what we did with this training. That's everything you've just heard. Is the stuff that this super successful people tell you not to do, okay? And so don't be a solo act. Use third party. It's so magical. Ashley and I did a call the other day, where she'd been talking with this guy and he'd been kind of dragging his feet. And Ashley's so amazing how she talks to people with this business, and she's so great at it. But it didn't matter. And as soon as she got me on the phone with this guy, I talked to him for like 5 minutes. I was just asked him what his questions were, answered a few of the questions, and gave the phone back to Ashley, and less than 24 hours later he was ordering his machine. Okay, and so it's really important to bring in a third party, someone else to talk to, either at a demo, over the phone, live, or you can bring in third party documentations. We're going to have all sorts of documents that you guys can take a look at that's going to be on this website, that you can go, oh, that's going to be a perfect one to explain why 2.5 kills this, this, and this. It's going to be an awesome. We're going to have all sorts of different amazing stuff for that. So to review them really fast, don't oversell, don't debate with people, don't try to convince people, okay? Don't talk too much. Don't Facebook blast people. Don't scare people away with the price. Build the value first. Next one is losing people to the internet. Inoculate them first. Make sure that they see that they know what's coming before they get online. Giving away water for too long to the wrong types of people. You don't want to make false claims. You don't need to hype this machine up. You don't want to focus too much on the business, too much on the product, and don't be a solo act. Those are a lot of don'ts, but trust me, moving forward with this training, we're going to have a lot more fun with, particularly that Ashley's probably doing the next training, so you're going to have a lot more fun either way. But I like to get these out of the way first and foremost, because it really gives people a clear picture of where to go, what to do with the business. What?
But do be yourself.
Okay, yeah, that was good.
Sorry, that was cheesy.
That was very cheesy, but that was good. That was good. That was good. So, thank you, Ashley, for bringing a little joy in at the end. So, don't get too bogged down in these. Have a lot of fun with this stuff. If you do any one of these, make it a fun game. Who cares? Like, oh yeah, I was talking to this guy the other day at the grocery store, and he seemed super excited. And then I was like, I just figured I should keep talking. And about 10 minutes later, I couldn't get his phone number. He didn't want anything to do with me anymore. Have fun with it. You know what? Who cares? So. Thank you guys for watching this training. We're going to be doing a few more of them.
All right.
Good stuff.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Still there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. I did something to my camera. I said to stop. Oh, show self view. There it is. There I am again.
You're there again. So thanks for playing that video, Rick. That is good, powerful stuff. So before we start asking everybody else what resonated with them, Rick, why don't you share what resonated with you the most from those don'ts that Brian shared?
Well, there's two things, if you don't mind me mentioning them. The first, I'm going to mention one that we didn't talk about before, but the flaunting money just isn't the right thing to do. We learned that quick, never did it. Saw other Enagic distributors doing that, putting up checks, and it's just never sending a good message to people. Me, it's just a way that they're trying to bring you into the business, and they're not doing it ethically, and that's, hopefully everybody agrees with me with that. But the other thing I've done previously, I don't do it anymore, but if I'd be out at a restaurant, say I was out eating dinner with Laura, we're at a restaurant, and a waitress walks up and she's like, what do you guys want to drink? We're like, oh no, we're good. We got our water bottles. And they're like, oh cool, what is that? We're like, well, it's special water. We get it from this machine. And like, oh, what's the machine? And then I would go into like, blah, blah, blah. The water gets shocked and it gets electrocuted and the molecules get smaller. It gets into your cells. It flushes out this and that and the other thing. And they're looking at me like I have 6 eyes, not 4, well, 2, 4, whatever. But that was one of the worst things I could ever do, and it scared so many people off. And stories sell. Excuse me, stories tell, facts sell. So what that means is when people drink this water, that's when the facts happen. Everybody that's on this call, excluding Mark, because Mark hasn't had this water yet. Everybody else on the call has had this water. They know that the facts sell with this, and they all have a story to tell. So you could tell 100 people your story, and 100 of them most likely won't believe you unless they know you really well, and they trust you, and they know and trust you. But they're going to have to see those facts on their own a lot to see that proof in the pudding. So Laura, what were some of the things that resonated with you?
So the biggest one, hey, can you guys show yourselves? It's so weird talking to words. We want to see your faces if you don't mind. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Laura. Regina, where are you? Come on, Don. Come on, Cash.
I don't know if Don's going to do it. He has some camera issues.
Okay.
There's
Cash.
Cash.
Hi. Awesome. So,
I'm gonna unmute.
I was muted because Elizabeth usually nurses and stuff around this time, so I was like, no one wants to see that. And I've
it's all good.
been
Us mommies don't mind.
Okay.
Laura,
Maybe the guys, but us mommies don't.
Laura, why don't you introduce Cash to the rest of the group real quick?
Hey, everybody. This is Cash. She is our friend that is in New York. She's in Brooklyn. So you all know that we have gone out to some trainings out in New York, in Brooklyn specifically. And we had the pleasure of not actually meeting you face to face there. I think actually we hugged.
Yeah.
But we didn't make the connection until later on. You know me, guys, I'm a hugger. And so is Cash. So what Cash is doing out there in New York is she has a whole wellness thing going on that is really exciting, and we'll have to get you guys all connected with her for that. But specifically about the water, she is sharing water like crazy, and her goal is to have her own water shop like us. So we're really excited about that. So thanks for getting on the call, Cash, and you guys will see her a lot more. So Rick, to answer your question, what resonated with me was giving out water for too long. A perfect, and I know Brian talked about giving out water for too long.
No, I finally did it.
There she is. Hi, Regina.
Hi, this is tricky. I never
You're doing
remember
great.
how to do it.
You're doing great. We love you. So he was talking about giving out water to the wrong people and for giving out water for too long. So for me personally, it was, I was, giving out water to willy-nilly anybody, right? Because I was so excited. I didn't know the science, so I couldn't really, vomit the science too much, which was a good thing. But I literally was calling every person I know saying, come to my house, get water, come to my house, get water. And they would keep coming back and keep coming back. And I didn't know to, only do it for a certain amount of time. But specifically, I was taking water to a few people at work. And this is kind of a funny story because my boss was drinking the water and he absolutely loved it. And finally, I got to the point probably about four months before I found the location for the store. And I finally was like, you guys, I'll bring the water, but you have to go out to my SUV and get it because I'm tired of lugging it in, carrying it in, whatever. I was just getting fed up, right? I felt like I was being taken advantage of, and I probably was, but I knew it was giving them benefits. So my heart, I just couldn't stop. So probably, I guess it was that November, the end of November, we opened the store in February. That's when I actually cut them off. Well, guess who were the first 2 members at our water shop? Joy and Tom. So fortunately, Joy in the beginning, she was like, oh, this is silly. I'm just going to get my machine. And she did within, a month of being at the store. But Tom has been with us the entire time from day
2
one
years.
from day one, which is 2 years and 2 months that we've been open.
He's given us $1,000.
Easily.
Yes.
So good news is he just bought his machine. It officially went in today. So, yay!
What an ending, right?
But man, that was the longest sale I think I've ever had in my life. But it is really easy, you guys, to get caught up in. You want to. Our hearts are just there, and we do when we're sharing from our home. It's a little different with us with the water shop because, our members are coming in and, they're getting the water. But when you're sharing from your home and if you're doing what Brian was saying, if you're driving, water 20 miles and people are saying, oh, we don't have time to come pick it up. Can you bring it to us? Well, so we say, 3 weeks to share water with people is great. And in the process, you're talking to them the whole time about the benefits, just what he was saying about, the benefits of the water and sharing your story and how it's benefited you and other people. And so that's the one that I, that resonated with me.
Can I ask, why did it take that guy so long to buy his machine?
Excuses, excuses,
Well,
excuses.
yeah, exactly. It was one thing after another. His daughter was getting married. His son was having a baby. He had to get his new boat. He has the money. He's my boss. I know he makes way more than I make.
Do you want to tell her what truly got him to buy his machine?
You go ahead.
So his wife referred somebody in from the chiropractor's office into our store. And this woman started drinking the water. And from the first day she started drinking it, she told us she was going to buy a machine within a month.
Yep.
So we planted that seed in Laura's boss's head and told him, look, she's getting ready to buy a machine. You might want to start getting your funds together and stop, dragging your feet. Look at Cash laughing. She knows. So that worked out perfect. So, last Friday she came in and she's like, yeah, I'm going to get a machine, Laura. And I called her Saturday afternoon and sent her the paperwork. And she's talking about getting a machine within the next couple of days. Well, we called Tom. We're like, Tom, she's pulling the trigger. If you want to get, that thank you check, you better pull the trigger. And boom, there it happened. So that was like he's going to make $300, which, is $285, which isn't a lot of money in his eyes, but was just the fact. It's like those little value points that he got that made him make that decision. And that's important.
And he has talked, over the 2 years of, when he gets a machine, who he wants to share water with, which is kind of funny because the owner of the company, he doesn't really, I think he knows that I own the company up the street. Literally, it's a half a block up from where I work full time, which is hysterical. But I think he doesn't want to know because I'm one of his top sales reps for his company. Little does he know that I'm building my own dream in the process. But I think it's really funny. On Saturday when Tom was in the shop, he said the first person he's going to share water with is the owner of the company I work for, which awesome. I'm really excited. The more people drinking this, the better, right?
That's right. So Ash.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about some of the people you're sharing water with and some of the experiences you've run into that kind of resonate with what we just kind of showed on that video. Have you run into anything like that yet?
Sorry, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. It's a little more quiet. Yes.
Okay.
This is my office, the bathroom. I'm in a studio in Brooklyn, everyone. So typical.
Well, when you have kids, you got to make space, right?
That's right.
Right. Okay, so what resonated with me is, sharing water too long would be one, and then also not getting too much into the science. We feel like, oh, these selling points or these facts are going to just really be like, oh, she knows what she's talking about, or I should drink this water because science says so. Everybody needs water. It's like so simple. And some of the people that I've been sharing water with, they do kind of like pussyfoot around. And, I let someone go a little bit longer on a trial. And then I was like, oh, you're done. And they were like, really? And literally within 4 days, they were like quick paying me money for their a membership and asking me for help more like, what does 9.5 do? And when can I do that? And then funny enough, I shared with Rick and Laura today, was it this morning or yesterday? It was yesterday that, I was like, did you give water to your dog yet? His dog is everywhere, like a little purse, like a purse dog. And he was like, no. And I said, you saw the video I posted, just test it. Cause I didn't make the video and it's cool, but give your dog some regular tap water in a bowl and then put some Kangen water in there. And he texts like, oh my gosh, my brother was even freaking out. He was like, tell me more. So stuff like that, when it just does the work for you, it just kind of, and listening to that video we watched, I was like, yeah, keep it simple. Like, you don't have to sell water.
Nope. Water sells itself.
Exactly. And people need water. And then just, let people come to you. I haven't been posting a lot lately about like, oh, it's this and this and that. I've just been posting not necessarily testimonies, but just like little things. And people are like, I need this. I want that. And I'm like, really? Where were you last month? So it's exciting.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. We're excited for you. I know you got a lot of big changes coming, so we definitely have you in prayer too.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Don, can you hear me?
Mom, what are you doing?
I'm in a meeting.
Yeah, I got you. Rick, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Can you do me a favor? I guess you can talk. You don't have to get on video, but just talk a little bit. I know you shared water in the past, and you tell the story about your chiropractor that bought the machine from you. Her
Well,
daughter. Oh my gosh.
so there's a couple things. First of all, that whole video resonated. I wish I would have watched that video about 5 years ago.
Yes, us too.
And one of the things that it was really sticking out was the internet thing. It's such a nice way of really quickly telling people when you're talking to them, hey, there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of copycat. There's a lot of clone. There's a lot of knockoffs. Just be wary of that. We're the real deal. We're number one. If you have questions, come talk to us. You know, that really resonated. But the chiropractor story, I started sharing water with my chiropractor. It's been about 4 years ago now. And he would have me send him information. And, you know, unfortunately with me, about every 6 months, I do something like sneeze or twist a broom the wrong way and my back goes out. And so I'll go see my chiropractor. And so I'd go and see him and he'd be like, hey, you know, that water, you know, I was really enjoying it. And I'm going to do some more research. And, you know, it was just one of those things. One day I was at work and he showed up and he walked in and he was ready to buy a machine. It was the craziest thing, like out of the clear blue. I hadn't seen him in a couple months and he was, I have to have this right now. Let's order it today.
That's awesome. Thank you, Don, so much for sharing.
Yep.
So, Laura Adams, you've been sharing water lately. You're on mute. Hang on, let me unmute you.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
That should be good. Yeah, I have, so I do real estate is my real job, I guess you could say. But I have investors. I have 2 different investors that I work with on real estate. And so over the COVID-19, just like in casual conversation, a guy called me and one of the investors, and I just told him I was cleaning my house with like this special water. And he's like, wait, did you say special water? And I said, yeah. I said, it's a 2.5 water. Like I have a machine that changes the pH level. And so I don't have to buy any cleaning products and it's better for all my kids. And he's like, oh, tell me more. So he's really interested. I'm meeting with him Friday to share water. And then also have another investor whose wife works out, and then he just got diabetes too for his weight. And so I told him, we've had several conversations about his diabetes because I do CrossFit 5 days a week and his wife works out. And I'm like, hey, you know, so I told him, I just said, I think I have some water that would be healthy for you and would help you. So I already took that to him. I took it today. So
That's awesome.
2 investors that are like interested in opening a store with me. So we'll see how that goes.
Love it. We'll talk more about that this week.
Yes. Working on it.
All right. I love it.
Did you learn anything from Miss Laura that's going to kind of maybe help you when you go forward, like with what you may or may not do or what try to do? Or
Oh yeah, I'm totally one of those people who was just like sharing water just every 3 days, because I shared with a couple girls at CrossFit, and they just I just had a bad experience from the get-go. So I would say now I feel like I could go in and like really, they would be buyers because it's not a money issue with them.
Right.
So, but I never had the training or anything like that. All I knew was just to give them water.
Right. Well, now you have us, so we're going to help you. And,
Yeah.
and Laura, if you want me to do a 3-way call with any of your people, just let me know. Call me tomorrow. We can chat tomorrow.
Okay. Well,
Kangen?
we got to get back to CrossFit though, because our gym's closed,
Oh boy.
Oh, right.
and it has been for like a month. So none of us are able to see each other.
Aw. Well, it'll be soon, I'm sure.
Yes. So
We're all
definitely
counting on
make
that.
that happen. But I think once I think once I open a store, it would just be like legitimate to people because of the way everything started with me. They're just like, is this like really what she's talking? I mean, really?
Yep.
And
We-
so I feel like I fell into like not a pothole, but like a grave.
Right.
Really at the very beginning of my business. So
Right. Well, that's all the past. So
yes.
That's right.
Now I
Yeah.
know in the video every aspect of it was like, oh, I did
Right.
that. Oh yeah, that one too. Okay, yeah, that one too. It's like, okay, now I know.
Right.
Now I
That's
know
awesome.
what is acceptable and what's not.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Aw.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks for sharing, Laura.
So we have two more people I was hoping to hear from. Mark, I know you haven't even, you had one cup of water that I gave you one time, right?
Correct. I haven't had enough of it. I definitely want to try more of it.
Yeah.
Right. So you
So,
just told me earlier, I guess Scott got his machine yesterday and he's hopefully coming back over to hook it up at the store, what, tomorrow or Friday or something?
I'm hoping he's coming back tomorrow with it. I mean, he took it home. He's been using it at home and he loves it there. But I'm hoping he brings it back tomorrow, the next day. And I'm really looking forward to, as I said last week, being his first, member to get it weekly. So I
That's
can
awesome.
really start using it on a regular basis. And my son has had reflux since he was an infant. So
Good.
I talked to him about it. Not that he's going to buy it, but because it will be mine.
That's right.
Yeah.
3 weeks,
But,
Mark. 3 weeks. No, I'm just kidding.
It's taught me a lot just talking to him about it.
Right.
That's great. Well, just
But
so you
I
guys
thought that
know,
was a great video. I really. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know if everybody knows Mark on the call, but Mark is teaming up with Scott, who is opening one of his, Mark is in one of the stores that that Scott is going to be opening the water business. He's incorporating it into his store. So that's where Mark is coming from. And Mark, you have MS, right?
Correct.
So I am really, really excited to hear your water journey. Really excited. You need to
I'm
document
excited
everything
to
for me,
see-
okay?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Hey, Cash, I know you probably heard that, but just, this is pretty cool. So Don is my cousin. He's got a vape shop down in Delaware. He bought a machine for his house. He bought a machine for his house 4 years ago. Right, Don? 4 years? Yeah, about 4 years. So he bought his machine, never put it in his business, never was interested in putting it in his business. His water has problems at his store, didn't want anything to do with it. He got in a conversation with Scott, who Mark works for. Scott owns 2 vape shops in Delaware. He gets in a conversation with Scott about it. Scott comes down to Reading. Scott doesn't think anything about it. He's down in Reading because his girlfriend's in the hospital in Reading where we have our store.
Mhm.
He's at the diner across the street and looks across the street and sees our store. And he's like, you've got to be kidding me.
Small
He
world.
walks into our store, ends up talking to Laura for 2 hours in our store on a Saturday afternoon. And 2 weeks later, he's like, I want 2 stores in Delaware and I want 10 stores in Florida. Like he's that
He's in. Yeah.
very in. And that's all from Don making a conversation with somebody. So that's, business and business is a huge
That's
thing. Like
crazy.
just going forward, even you, Laura, too. Like if you're talking to people, that own businesses, that's definitely something that really goes hand in hand with health and wellness, especially gyms and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I'm hoping that that guy Chris that I tell you about all the time is going to be one of those type of
right,
links and networkers because he's
Right.
been working on investors, and if he does it, and he's about to get cut off, well, he's paying for it now, but if he does it, I think it'll just spread because he's
Right.
just so heavily connected. So I hope something like that happens very soon.
Now,
right.
Chris is the
That's
one
awesome.
we did a 3-way call with, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm getting your people right.
yeah.
I'm good at messing up names and confusing, saying somebody's this person and that person. And If I don't have my notes written in front of me, forget it.
I hear you.
So Regina, oh, you're muted. Let me unmute you. Hold on.
Oh, you have her muted, Rick?
Yes.
She's not muted now. I can hear her
Okay.
now. Just wanted to say hi.
Hi.
Regina bought Regina bought an Nest from us about a month and a half ago before all this
And I
COVID.
haven't been able to use it.
Yeah.
She's salty.
I was going to ask you, what is it like? Because I don't know anyone that's, what is it like? But I guess I can't ask you that.
Not yet. Not yet.
No.
It's gonna get hooked up as soon as this
As
this
soon as we
virus is
can,
gone.
we can
She's-
get past the
That's right.
the pandemic.
That's
Yes.
right. That's
Yes.
right. So but I'm happy that you could get on here tonight, Regina, and hear this. I know I don't know if you're I don't know if you got the whole thing from the beginning. I know you came in a little late, but hopefully you got to hear
Yeah,
some.
I don't understand why I went to a different place and it said that the host was in another meeting. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
supposed to be at this
That
one, and
happened
why
to
isn't it
me.
working?
it
Yeah.
happened last week
It
and
happened to
this
me
week.
too.
Yeah. I get into the meeting. I went into it like 5 minutes before, and Laura's screaming from upstairs, "You're in another meeting." I'm like, "How? I'm not in another meeting."
I'm like, why are we in another meeting?
So I have to go
Yeah.
and Google it and find out why that's happening. But
Yeah, that's twice in
Maybe
a
I
row.
started too early or something. I don't
I
know.
don't
No.
No, it's not your
No.
fault. It was Rick's. Let's all blame Rick.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't join from my computer, but I'm only allowed to join from my phone. So I don't know. I got the same error message last week, and then this week the same.
Huh.
Yeah, I
When I
actually
sent-
tried the same thing. I tried to do it on my laptop, and that one, it just said the host hasn't signed in yet.
Oh,
So I said, okay, let me go back to my cell phone. And then that one said you were in a different meeting. So I'm like, this is not working for me. That's when I think the text
he's a
message.
busy guy, huh?
See, I have multiple Zoom meetings going on at the same time.
Could
It
it be
seems
that
way?
when you
It-
set up
it's
the
your- it's your
meeting?
alternative personality.
Right. No, that's me. I'm the Gemini. I have the two personalities.
Right.
I did a meeting I do some every morning for some of my clients, and I did notice that there is and I'm sure you know this, Rick, the mobile app version, and then also web and phone. So I don't know if you have to unselect or select all, but maybe that's something, because I cannot from
Okay.
my computer, but on my phone, it's like no problem. But as your host, you might be able to access from your computer. I don't know if it's something like that.
Yeah. It's technical difficulties. Like last week on our call, I put on a video and nobody could hear it.
Epic
And
fail.
that was last week. So Laura and I practiced this week, and we figured out how to do that. And all it is a button you push before you share your screen.
Who knew?
Hey,
Hey, speaking of sharing screens, Regina, will you hold up that bottle you were just drinking out of?
Can you see it?
Yes, that's a beauty.
just like that.
Just like that.
It's in my favorite color too.
Of course, I knew that. That's why I gave it to you.
I know. It
I'm
keeps
glad
it
you're
nice
drinking
and,
out of it,
keeps it nice and chilled. I
right?
just use it as a glass. I don't like the straw and all that other jazz.
Oh,
Well, if I'm being mobile and like traveling in the car, I would, but I'm not really riding around in the car now. So
that's true. That's true.
All right. Well, Laura, do you want to go ahead and wrap this up?
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything to say? Anything exciting? Okay.
Hands raised.
I might have missed this, and I haven't been able to really dive into too many things all at once. But if is it just as simple without forms for someone to go to your website and just buy a machine and get the same commission and everything's the same,
Yes.
and later place them if you need to, so you strategically place them, or just buy? The first
Right.
question is a yes, second question
Right.
is a no.
Right. So
Okay.
if they do
Thank you.
paperwork, yeah, they do paperwork, you can put in what ID, what leg you want them to go under on paperwork. If you do it on the website, they can go to enagic.com, and on Enagic's website, it'll say who referred you, and they'll have to put in your distributor ID at that point. I think it might ask them where they want to place it, but I don't think it's going to ask the customer. I think it's just going to have you
No,
go through, and it's
just
going
you
to
put the
place them with
ID in.
the highest, whatever the highest is.
Right.
Thank you,
Okay.
Yep.
Because Laura and I
right.
have been doing this like 4 years now, so we kind of strategically figure out where we're gonna place people, and then just go to enagic.com. As long as you have your distributor ID, you can give that to them. They can place the order, and it'll come out of California if you do that. It
Okay.
takes about 5 to 6 days.
Just as I was looking on the, when they had the special for all the Enagic sites, the EWS or whatever. So that's all set up, and I was just playing around with the shop and putting in. So if someone goes there, I would still get all the credit, all
If
that.
somebody goes to that, it automatically,
specific.
because you have
Yep, it goes to-
EWS,
Right.
it'll automatically tag
Ping
you.
it. Right.
Just
wanted to make sure.
Puts a cookie on their computer, and if they go to your site and they go to products and they go to order, it'll take them to an Enagic site, and your user ID will show up on there.
Right. Perfect. Okay.
Good
Good
stuff.
question.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, it was really great to see everybody tonight. Thank you for, being a part of this. And this is going to be every single Wednesday night at 8:30 Eastern and
Everybody
7:30
smile.
for you, Laura.
Laura, smile. There she is. Okay, I got it. Oh. Dawn, you look great.
7:30 for Laura because she's out in Texas. As you guys could hear her, I love when she talks because I love her accent. So thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate you. We're excited to build with you and to teach you guys, and check out the site that Rick put together. Please send him compliments because he works really hard. Seriously, it's great to tell people they're doing a great job, and he did a heck of a job on it. It looks
Mark, I can help you too, by the way, if you need help.
Wonderful.
Rick's good.
I'm not a web designer, but we could Zoom.
You got some
And you could
skill.
share your screen, and I could help walk you through stuff. You could actually, I think I can actually share your screen with you and remote. I don't know if I can do it through Zoom, but I could probably help you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Good
Stay
night.
hydrated. Stay well.
Bye,
Thank
kids.
you. Good night.
Bye,
Bye.
Jess.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.